Always great catching up with my next guest, Jared Cannonier, who is currently waiting for a fight, and we have a lot going on in his division, the middleweight division, that is. We have a new champion. We'll get into that and much more. Jared, how are you today, man?
I've been doing good, James, real good. Staying busy. I got back from Australia about a week and a half ago. Got back into training last week. Super excited for the future, for the see big things on the horizon, considering the shakeup in the division after Sean Strickland was successful in winning the title, beating Israel. So I'm back at the grindstone here at the lab.
So I want to go all the way back to you getting the backup spot for the middleweight title. Did you get much notice for that? I remember when Colby Covington got his backup spot for the Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards fight. It was supposedly a week before. How much notice did you get that you had to weigh in and potentially be the backup?
I got about 5 weeks, I think.
Okay, good. Weeks. So it was a decent amount of time. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. It was enough time for me to make weight. So, but yeah, I was already training. I was in shape, so it was cut and dry, weight cut again for me. So,
for sure.
Figured I'd take hold of the opportunity to fly to a different part of the world. Never been to Australia before. It was real nice. It was real nice going this time. This time of year, it's springtime there, real nice, 70s. So met some cool people there, did some cool things, and saw a cool event. So yeah, it was good.
What did you make as well of them giving the title shot to Sean when you had a win over him a couple fights ago? Did that bother you? What was your reaction to hearing that?
No, man. It is what it is. So congratulations to him. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
I get this door.
No,
it is what it is. So, no hate to him. I guess we all deserve a title shot, and he got his, and shit, he made good on it. So, good for him. And yeah, shit. I had my shot.
Well, I was going to say, I could see you being a bit annoyed because, again, you had a win over him, and it's not like it was a couple years ago. This was fairly recent. You beat Sean, right? So,
right. It was what, 9 months ago when I fought him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good for him, I guess. It was Israel who called the shot. Who made that happen? From what I hear, and we see the outcome of it. So, shit, it is what it is. But I feel like, with the shakeup in the division and my win over him and my very recent win over him, that like you said, that makes a strong case for the next shot, for a contender shot, to be the contender, I mean.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in 1 second. I just did want to mention the fight itself. So you're there watching the fight live. What's going through your head? Because you fought Sean, you fought Israel. Sean was a big underdog in this fight, almost 4-1. What was your reaction to seeing Sean, especially in that first round, he hits Izzy and you think that maybe he might finish it there, and then he just ends up dominating most of the fight. What was your reaction watching that fight and the result that unfolded?
Man, I had my hands on my head during that fight. It was wild. It was really wild watching it happen, watching it go down the way it happened. And it's not as if Sean was bouncing off of the cage doing anything unorthodox or unordinary that we ain't never seen him do before. It was the same old Sean Strickland we've always seen, and it worked perfectly. The formula worked for him this time around with against Israel.
Yeah.
So I was as astounded as anybody else would be watching that, right? And excited at the same time.
Right.
Considering my history. So it was amazing. I'm glad I was there live to watch it. Again, another amazing moment in MMA. That's why I love this sport.
There has been some talk after the fight, and again, nothing's official yet, but right after the fight happened, Dana seemed to imply that they want to do the rematch. Were you surprised by that in the sense that Izzy just won his belt back? He lost decisively. Usually you don't see a fighter get another opportunity again after losing a fight like that. I could see if it was a quick finish or a close fight where maybe they felt it could have gone either way. What was your reaction to hearing that? Because I think that surprised a lot of people.
Well, initially I was a little I wouldn't say I was a little. What's the word?
You can say you were pissed off. I would be if you saw that.
I would say I was in disagreement
Yeah.
at the initial thought of the idea. I don't feel, and I still don't feel, and I feel the same. I still don't feel like that performance warrants a rematch.
Mhm.
So I was in disagreement with the statement. In hindsight, you can look at it and say maybe he was just pulling out some feeders. I think as a president, as the businessman, Dana wants Israel on pay-per-views. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to make potentially the most money
Mhm.
for the company. So that's his job. Increased revenue, I suppose. But like I put a post out in regards to this, you know what I'm saying, making my stating my case that if you're a true, I feel like if you're a true fan of combat, of hand-to-hand combat, if you're a true fan of enthusiast of martial arts, you know what I mean, if you're a true warrior at heart, I feel like the fight against me and Strickland will be the next fight to make, because I recently have a win over him. I've definitely improved since my fight against him. So I've been on the up. I've been on the incline. So I've been on a drastic incline since my title fight. So everybody's crying and complaining about the title fight. Uh, everybody's crying and complaining about the fight with Strickland. I've been on the incline. You know what I'm saying? So I fought the champ, and then I fought the future champ. You know what I mean? And I beat the future champ, right? And the way the former champ beat me, it wasn't it wasn't like by strides or anything like that. So I'm the best in the world. I don't care what nobody says. I'm going to get the belt no matter what. I'm going to beat any and everybody they put in front of me. I don't care what their game plan is or how much makeup they put on before they get on the camera, and do they spinning back shots or whatever the fuck you want to call them. You know what I mean? It's time. It's my time. I'm about to start putting these boys. I'm putting the hurting on them. And my previous fight was only a tippy. It was only a taste of what I'm going to start putting, or the pain I'm going to start bringing to everybody.
Yeah.
People, I'm not here to put on an act and entertain nobody. You know what I mean? I'm here to fight. And if you're not entertained by fighting, get the fuck out my face. I ain't got nothing to say or do with you. You know what I mean? So when you watch me fight, you know what I mean? Look at my highlight reels. Look at my resume. When you watch me fight, you know what's up. Y'all want to look at the last fight and make your judgments based off, you know what I'm saying, and just send fighters to the guillotine based off of the last fight. But I ain't like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Don't talk to me like y'all talk to everybody else. You know what I mean? I'm about to. It's time.
I think there's a lot of things on your side, right? You mentioned the fact that, again, you were the backup for this card. That's got to count for something. You have the win over Strickland. I'm sure Strickland wants that fight back. He feels like he won. This would really settle things, right? Like, I'm sure from his end. And then again, it's a fresh matchup. I think the fans want to see. I don't think there's a lot of fans, honestly, Jared, that want to see the rematch between Israel and Sean, for the simple fact that Israel didn't win that fight. It wasn't even close. Like, it was Sean clearly won. So how much do you think that will play into this? Because there is a bit of momentum here, I think, on your side.
That should play a lot into it. You know what I'm saying? When you look at that last performance, considering Sean was walking him down, screaming in his face, and Israel's response was to do the exact same thing he did for the last 4.5 rounds, So no knock to him, you know what I mean? He didn't have an answer for him. And I felt that before in training and fights, you know what I mean? So it happens, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't his best day in the office. But that's the way that fight went down. You know what I mean? Yeah. If it was close, or hell, if Sean would have finished him in that first round when he hurt him, you know what I'm saying? He'd have a stronger case for a rematch. But I feel like the UFC is an organization. Yeah, they want to put on entertaining fights, but they're also an organization based off of merit. If you perform well, you're gonna do well. You know what I'm saying? And even though I ain't on the camera shaking my booty, dipping and dancing for everybody, I make good money. So that says something. That merits. You know what I'm saying? My performances have merited my paychecks. So if you want a story, if you people want a story and you want a history and you want some drama, you know what I mean? I done beat the champ already. You know what I mean? And I'm ready to flex on that. You feel me? I'm ready to beat any and everybody. So
I get it.
can't.
I
You
get
know,
it.
I've been, huh?
I get it.
So
I totally get it. Yeah.
and I don't want to rush to sign on to any fights. You know what I'm saying? Real soon, and you know, and then take my name out of the thought process of title challenges. You know, because they've offered me a fight already, and it's definitely not as tempting as a title fight. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hell, it's not even as tempting as my last fight, to be honest.
Okay.
So um, I don't want to be salty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I enjoy working for the UFC. I'm not going to get on the camera and complain or anything. I'd rather call Mick or Dana straight up and talk to them straight. You know what I mean? So I'm not, crying and complaining like I have any discrepancies, but I personally feel like if you're a combat enthusiast, for those of us who have the heart of a warrior, that's the fight to make. As far as the middleweight division goes, as far as any story that you guys want to fabricate or put together goes, those two names are the ones that are make. And I got the card for you if you need a card. If you want to put a card together by the end of the year, or if you want to put a card together at UFC 300, which is coming up. All right, you can do me versus Sean Strickland part 2. You know what I'm saying? The Champ's Revenge, right?
Yeah.
You can do as a co-main event. You can do, if you want to put Israel on pay-per-view, booyah! You put Israel on the pay-per-view against the tantalizing story that everybody wants to see play out against DDP, against Dricus du Plessis.
Mm-hmm.
You put that as a co-main event, right? So there you go, pay-per-views for the company, and then you got a title fight on top of that. You know what I'm saying? That's like 2 main courses right there. And then on top of that, if you really want to map out the middleweight division for at least the next year and a half, you put the winner of Costa and Chimaev versus Robert Whittaker.
Yeah.
Right. And then with that being said, you have the title fight play out. You have a contenders match playing out right before that, and then you have a contenders match to come after that next match, right?
Yeah.
So you got all of 2024 mapped out as far as the middleweight title picture goes. You have a title fight at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year. You have the next title fight already set up. It doesn't matter who does the thing. I'm pretty sure after my next fight, especially if it's against a title fight, you're gonna be excited for the one that's coming after that, because like I keep on telling y'all, I'm getting better. I'm getting better and better, and I've gotten better since that last fight, and that was only a couple of months ago. So I can feel the energy. I can feel it. Okay, guys. I'm expressing it every day on the train when I'm training. So it's on. Like I said, I'm ready. It's going down, and you got your middleweight picture mapped out right there. After I beat Sean, I'll beat whoever wins out of Dricus and Robert Whittaker, or Dricus and
Izzy. Yeah.
Izzy. And then after that, you already have the next fight between. You already have another title fight lined up for the second quarter, the second half of the year, or you know what I'm saying. You can, whatever y'all want to do with the schedule, and then with the rest of the middleweight division playing out, building up. You got all the other fighters in the rest of the rankings. All these new guys who you want to bring up. You know what I'm saying? A few guys that Sean Strickland derailed on his way to his title fight, to his title win. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to build these people up. There y'all go. You got to have opportunity while the title picture is mapped out. There's no clogs, no bogs in the middleweight division. Won't be nobody talking, complaining. Your fans will be satisfied. Your fans will be satiated, more than satisfied. They'll be satiated, and they'll want more of that, as opposed to being entertained for one night on some bullshit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
On some clown shit. We don't need that shit. You know what I'm saying? This is a warrior sport, and I'm a fucking warrior. And I'm ready to go on and do what warriors do. I ain't here to entertain you people, put on no fur coats and a pair of sunglasses, and do all that stupid shit.
Understood. No, I completely get where you're coming from. You mentioned that obviously, like the title shot is the number one thing that you'd want as well. You also referenced the Khamzat Chimaev Paulo Costa fight. I know you've told me before that you'd be fine with fighting Chimaev. Does Chimaev equal that same like kind of big marquee fight for you if it wasn't the title shot next, or at this point now you're like it's title shot or whatever the UFC decides? Because I know you're happy with the UFC as well.
I mean, Chimaev's is a bigger piece of meat than what they offer me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when I go in there and smash him, they can't deny me the title. I mean, right? Theoretically.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, but yeah. So there you go.
You're still working out if this fight may end up happening. Right? Like you're kind of weighing your options.
Fight, you know? Yeah. I want to hear what the champ has to say about what he wants next, you know?
Yeah.
Who does he want next? Does he want to have the middle? I mean, come on now. So let's hear and see what everybody else has to say. The important people, you know?
Right.
I know you want to appease the fans, but let's hear what the champ has to say. The fans want to see what the champ has to say as well. And the fans will probably go right along with what he says. So, shoot, the fans will feel exactly how he feels. If he comes in here and be like, no, I beat him. And then the records will show that I beat him. And then I state my case. When he fought me, he wasn't screaming in my face. He wasn't walking forward when he fought me. He was dodging bombs. You know what I'm saying? He was doing good at it. You know what I'm saying? He was doing good at surviving. Mm-hmm. But he was surviving. You know what I'm saying? If that was a title fight and I was the champ, they sure as hell wouldn't give him that fight. They sure as hell wouldn't give him that win. There would have been no question that, oh, yeah, he barely won. No. Because when you fight the champ, you got to beat the champ.
Yeah.
And that's what I was doing. I was going around to beat him. And he was surviving. He was nervous. When we walked in the middle of the first of that fight, I can feel that energy. You know what I'm saying? But maybe he uses that energy to his benefit. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, we get nervous and then we go in there and perform like the best we've ever performed. But he was nervous. He knew what the fuck he was up against. They all know what they're up against. And that's why the fights go the way they do. Like I said before, you know what I'm saying? When the fights ain't as entertaining as y'all think it is, you know what I'm saying? Don't just say the Killer Gorilla's a boring fighter, because that's bullshit. That's funny if I ever heard it. That's the funniest joke if I ever heard one. Mm-hmm. So, because I focus on effectiveness, you know? So,
when did you last, sorry to interrupt, when did you last speak to the UFC? Because you mentioned they've offered you someone. Was this like a couple days ago? Because you just got back from Australia not that long ago. So they call you right when you got home?
Last week, they offered me somebody. My manager called me. My manager is my liaison, if you will. So he called. You know, he relayed the message to me, and
do you have like a deadline of? Do you have a deadline of when you have to take the fight, or like what? Because obviously, like this is fairly new, right?
Well, you know, I don't like. I'm not going to sit on the name for a matter of weeks, but this is this is special circumstances. You know, I'm in a different position right now, so I'm not going to jump on the first fight that they hand me. You know, jump on the first bone that they throw in the yard. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Get distracted by the big ass slab of meat that's hanging out around there. Mm-hmm. You feel me? So and that's just it, man. They said, there's been all kinds of talks about. There's been all kinds of and very little talks about me, and there's a good reason for that. And I'm ranked at the top of the division. There's a good reason why nobody's saying my name. You know what I'm saying? There's the people at the back of the pack who wants to climb and claw their way to the top, maybe saying my name, but they don't know what they're in for when they get in there with me. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to look back at them. I ain't no disrespect, and I ain't trying to say I ain't finna whoop their ass just to, you know what I'm saying? Especially if they scheduled the title fight tomorrow, then I ain't gonna be like, well, I gotta wait until they title fight finish. I ain't finna wait. But if the title fight ain't scheduled, I ain't finna go schedule myself up and tie myself up and, you know what I'm saying, miss this opportunity. Mm-hmm. So if you ain't gonna tell me what's up, you know what I'm saying? If I gotta wait and see, I don't even like the way that sounds. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, no, I totally get it there. One name you did mention there was Dricus du Plessis. I was just curious your thoughts on, obviously the title shot with him and Izzy didn't work out. That's how we got this Strickland thing to come about. What did you make about the UFC and Dana White saying, look, he missed his opportunity? Just your thoughts on that as a fellow middleweight. Obviously, I know you want the shot, but I was curious what you thought of those comments.
Did Dana say that? I don't think I heard Dana. I heard a few other people say that.
No, Dana specifically said that like he basically missed his opportunity because of the injury that he had in not taking this fight. Which a lot of fans were
well, that's the nature of the sport. We've seen that happen play out. If you get injured, UFC isn't going to be like, okay, let's wait for him because, he did this in his last fight. UFC essentially rolls on. You'll be still in good and better standing than you were before. Mm-hmm. But, you know what I'm saying? That's a commonality, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing goes with me. You know what I mean? If I miss this opportunity, who knows if it's going to come again, right?
Yeah.
So I can't just be like, her, I'll fight you. And then hopefully, you know what I'm saying, the title will be waiting in the wing for me as soon as I'm finished. Yeah, I mean, he did a big thing when he beat Robert, right?
I was going to ask you, what did you make of his performance over Whittaker? Because we haven't seen Whittaker get finished like that other than maybe the first fight with Izzy, right?
Right. Whittaker has been the I hate to use this word, but gatekeeper, but not gatekeeper to contendership or anything, but gatekeeper right to the title. You know what I'm saying? Right there to that, you feel me?
Yeah.
So he's like the king's guard, if you will. You know what I mean? He ain't just, no disrespect to Robert, all the respect to that man. But when Dricus did that, that was pretty outstanding. Again, quite similar to what we saw Sean just do, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people expected to see greatness on display once more when Robert Whittaker walked into the octagon, and we saw the buzzsaw buzz right through that, and we saw Sean walk right through that greatness, right? Not even give that greatness a chance to rear its shiny head. So again, this is why I love this sport. You know what I mean? You can't underestimate anybody. So
it was impressive.
Both performances were impressive, and the division is more exciting because of those two performances. So the division has become a little bit more interesting, especially as far as I'm concerned. And I usually don't post, but I posted a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Try to state my case and put the word out there. Anybody who want to look past that is just a foolish idiot. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I know y'all into the entertainment aspect of it, but out there in the wild, if you don't see that predator stalking you, you're gonna get your ass bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm here doing work. You know what I mean? Class, pro practice starts in a little bit. I'm going there and handle my business and get 1% better yet again, and probably 1% better again after that. And that's my focus. And I'm feeling a swell of energy. I keep getting better. You know what I'm saying? People keep saying, people keep bringing up my age and stuff as if we age the same. We don't age. I don't age the same as y'all. You know what I mean? When y'all turn 40 and 50, y'all plan on hanging it up. I'm just getting started. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm talking about people around that time. So that's the way we supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? But some of y'all put all this poison and this garbage in your body. Y'all haven't purged yourselves. Y'all haven't anyway.
Yeah, no, I get it. I got two more quick questions, and then we'll get you out of here. I don't want you to be late for practice. I mentioned that Whittaker and Dricus fight. Obviously, there was a lot of stuff said in the cage after the fact, which I know is the entertainment side of things, which you don't really like that much. But what was your take on that whole thing? Because I think a lot of people were kind of, turned off by that, some of the antics, the back and forth stuff between Dricus and Adesanya. Did you see all that?
Well, the way I looked at it is, Israel was emotional. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Understandably so. This stuff can make us all emotional, right? When we allow it to. I, for one, personally don't believe in race. I don't believe in. I don't follow that whole. I don't follow that modern psychology of race. You know what I mean? I don't believe in the way we see each other as different races of people. If anything, we're just different species of human. You know what I mean? There's different species of cats out there. There's a lion and a tiger and a panther and all that different shit. There's different species of snakes. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to say that one is greater or more dominant or better than the other. They're all great in their own ways. They all have their own specific characteristics, and they all march their own and they march their line. When you try to step in somebody else's line, you're getting out of line. Plain and simple. So when you try to compare yourself to somebody else, you're just out of line. You're already out of line. This is why I say I'm not here to compete with anybody. The only person I compete with is myself, and I'm here to make myself better. And that's why I continue to grow and excel.
Yeah, you ignore all that stuff. Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
When I saw it, I understood where both parties was coming from, and I like the way Dricus responded to it. He didn't really play into it. He didn't feed into the energy of it. You know what I'm saying? To turn it into this whole thing that the world is going to get behind and start rioting and doing all kinds of fuckery about. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm talking about. That's one of the reasons why I don't believe in it, because people do some stupid shit based off of it. And history has shown this. You know what I mean? So, so yeah, it is what it is. I don't play into it. I try not to feed too much energy into it. It's not my cup of tea. But you know, it is what it is. It was entertaining to a certain aspect, you know, to a certain degree.
Yeah. Last question. The rematch, you and Strickland, how does that play out? Looking back after fighting him the first time, watching the fight with Izzy, watching his last couple fights, how do you think the rematch would play out? I know you feel like you're going to win, but how do you see the fight unfolding?
It's going to be far more. I'm going to be way more ferocious, but more tactical at the same time. I've acquired some, some very specific skills to deal with these top level competitors. You know what I'm saying? I've been working on this for over a year now. And it's, again, what you guys saw in my last fight was merely a taste of it. So, yeah. With that being said, I finish him. You know what I mean? He doesn't survive. So, and it's not, and it won't even be close. It's going to be me on him. Right? So, he's going, he's got a good jab. He's got some good defense. He may hit me a few times with it, but don't be fooled by it, y'all. Unless he's finishing the fight, he's losing the fight. I'm telling y'all right now.
There we go. Jared, thanks so much for doing this. We're looking forward to what's next. Anything you want to mention before you get out of here? As always, I'll give you the last word.
Like I said, Mick, Dana, whoever, you know what I mean? I'm your guy. You know what I mean? It's time. It's time for the real champ to reign. It doesn't matter who you want to put up there. I'm the one that's gonna derail him for real. So it's time. It's my time. To my fans, I thank y'all for rocking with me as always. Nothing but the real right here. And I'm just enjoying the process. So you guys can come with me and enjoy with me. We can have some fun with this thing. We can grow big time and become better all around. Other than that, thank you very much. And I'll see y'all next time.